In a year defined by flops, from Roma to Jussie Smollett, from Vice to Russian collusion, the Academy still gives out its top prizes to the leftist narrative. We will analyze the biggest fails of 2018 and early 2019. I'm Michael Knowles, and this is The Michael Knowles Show. All right, we've got to dole out the Knowlesies, the biggest prizes for narrative fails in 2018 and 2019. But first, let's make a little money, honey, with Lending Club. Oh, if you are carrying revolving debt, that means you are not paying off your card every month. And you could be paying thousands in interest every year that you don't have to. With Lending Club, you can consolidate your debt or pay off credit cards with one fixed monthly payment. Since 2007, Lending Club has helped millions of people regain control of their finances with affordable fixed-rate personal loans. No trips to the bank, no high-interest credit cards. Just go to lendingclub.com, tell them about yourself, tell them how much you want to borrow, pick the terms that are right for you. If you're approved, your loan is automatically deposited into your bank account in as little as a few days. Lending Club is the #1 peer-to-peer lending platform with over $35 billion in loans issued. Go to lendingclub.com/Knowles, Knowles. Check your rate in minutes, borrow up to 40 G's. That's lendingclub.com/Knowles. lendingclub.com/Knowles. Do not allow yourself to waste money, be caught up paying off high-interest credit cards when you could be managing your finances a smarter way. Check it out, lendingclub.com/Knowles. All loans made by WebBank, member FDIC, equal housing lender. The leftist narrative is falling apart here, from politics up through the culture, all the way up through the left's religion, which is global warming, and it's all happening right now at the same time, coincidentally right at awards season. And we will get to the Oscars, but first, we have got to get to the greatest scene that I have seen in any medium, film, television, social media, the greatest scene of the whole year, shockingly, unexpectedly care of Dianne Feinstein.
We are trying to ask you to vote yes on the Green New Deal.
Please.
Okay, I'll tell you what. We have our own Green New Deal.
Some scientists have said that we have 12 years to turn this around.
Well, it's not going to get turned around in 10 years. What we can do,
Senator, if this doesn't get turned around in 10 years, you're looking at the faces of the people who are going to be living with these consequences.
The government is supposed to be for the people and by the people and all for the people.
You know what's interesting about this group is I've been doing this for 30 years. I know what I'm doing. You come in here and you say it has to be my way or the highway. I don't respond to that. I've gotten elected. I just ran. I was elected by almost 1 million vote plurality. And I know what I'm doing. So, maybe people should listen a little bit.
I hear what you're saying, but we're the people who voted you. You're supposed to listen to us. That's your
How old are you?
job.
How old
I'm
are
16.
you?
I
Well,
can't
you didn't vote for me.
Well,
I'm 24.
It doesn't matter. We're the ones who's going to be impacted.
Oh, devastating. And it actually only gets worse for those exploitative adults and that teenager and those kids, because Dianne Feinstein doesn't miss a beat. First of all, the girl is wrong. The teenager is wrong. She says, your job is to do exactly what we tell you to do. That's not true. We have a representative republic. We don't have a direct democracy. It is not the job of these people to do exactly according to exact polling data. 50% plus one of people want this, so we have to do it. That's not the purpose of a congressional representative. We elect people to go to Congress for their judgment, and then they use their judgment regardless, hopefully, in the best case scenario, regardless of what public opinion polls say. But then Dianne Feinstein won't even hear it. She just goes, we're the people who voted for you. How old are you? Well, I'm 16. You didn't vote for me. Boom. Done. I love this. I mean, this reminds me, obviously, of Lindsey Graham 2.0 or Lindsey Grambo. We're seeing this with Dianne Feinstein. I don't know what her cool Sylvester Stallone nickname is going to be, but we often hear, oh, the senators are so old. Oh, they're so old. They can't, we need young blood, younger people. No, the minimum age for senators should be about 90, I think. I love this. If older incumbent senators are giving us Grambo and new Feinstein, good. Have the minimum age be 100. And actually, this is a half-serious point, because this is the leftist narrative. The left gets everything backwards. We talk about this all the time. And for the left children have greater moral teaching authority than adults. In reality, when you're a little kid, you think like a little kid. And then when you're a teenager, you think a little bit clearer, you have a little bit more access to reason, you've got a little bit more education, but you still basically know nothing. Then you go to college, you still basically know nothing, but you're learning a little bit, you're thinking a little more deeply. Maybe in your 20s, you're formulating some ideas. Again, not a ton of experience of the world. I'll be the first to admit it, I'm in my 20s. That's why I try to have a little bit of awe and humility when it comes to the vast tradition, when it comes to our intricate system of politics. As you get older, you increase in wisdom. You grow in wisdom. That's a virtue of time. For the left, they think it's exactly the opposite. They think that as people get older, they get stupider. They get less educated. They become less wise. They become less mature. I know this is by definition not possible, but the left doesn't let itself get tied up with silly little things like logic and the definitions of words. So for the left, really, a group of little children is the font of wisdom. This is why the left exploits kids all the time. When they're not killing them on tables an hour after they're born, the left exploits children immediately. You saw this in that video during the election of all these kids saying foul-mouthed language. F this, F that. They put them on camera to show how fired up the little kids were. You see all the time, they bring these kids to the rallies. They're F Trump, F this. Then you see they bring them into the office as though, what do these kids know about global warming? If we're to be told that global warming is settled science, don't you think you'd bring some scientists in rather than little children? They say, stop politicizing science and listen to these little children. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense, does it? I mean, really, shame on these adults, because they're doing two. They're exploiting the kids, for one, putting them on camera when they shouldn't be on camera, making them famous when they should know better than to do that. And then they're terrifying these kids. I mean, these kids very well might believe that they're all going to be dead in 12 years. These kids very well might believe that global warming is going to kill all of them within 12 years. They're terrifying these little kids. For what? Nobody's going to be dead in 12 years because of global warming. Nada. Nobody. Ain't going to happen. Let's make a bet right now. Any amount of money. You write it in. Put it in the comments. Write it in. Tweet at me. I'm happy to take that bet with anybody. Of course, no one would seriously make that bet, including these shameless adults who are exploiting the kids, because it's not about protecting the environment. It's not about protecting people. It's never about protecting kids. It's about taking power. It's about implementing socialism. That's why the Green New Deal, ostensibly about the environment, so urgent, we have to do it right now, gives us socialist healthcare, rebuilds every edifice in the country, has government takeovers of industry, has a universal basic income for some. Why is all that? Because it's all just about seizing power for socialism. Now, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez did not like this video of Dan Feinstein smacking around these exploitative adults and these kids. So she, for some reason, videotaped herself cooking again, because she's a serious person. And she gave her latest urgent plea for the Green New Deal, a performance of the year.
Our planet is going to face disaster if we don't turn this ship around. And so it's basically like there's scientific consensus that the lives of children are going to be very difficult. And it does lead, I think, young people to have a legitimate question. You know, is it okay to still have children? And I mean, not just financially, because people are graduating with $20,000, $30,000, $100,000 worth of student loan debt, and so they can't even afford to have kids in a house, but also just this basic moral question, like, what do we do? And even if you don't have kids, there are still children here in the world, and we have a moral obligation to them, to leave a better world for them.
Of course, not to belabor the point, but when you have a sitting Democrat governor calling for killing children after they're born, when you have another Democrat governor calling for killing children as they're being born and taking away protections if they are killed while they are being born, if they're murdered while they're being born, then you have to raise the question, how much does the left really care about children? And listen, this is the mark that something has gone really wicked in your politics. This is always the mark. This is the mark throughout history. When you want to stop creating children or begetting children, when you want to cut off life, when you want to cut off life at birth, when you want to cut off life at the end through euthanasia, doctor-assisted suicide, legalizing suicide, when you want there to be fewer people, when you say it's moral for there to be fewer people, when you say we have overpopulation, when you say any number of excuses to squeeze off human life, that is the sign that your politics has delved into something wicked. And that's what she's talking about. I've heard people say this. They say, well, we can't bring kids into this world because the world is so terrible. There's global warming. And then they say we can't bring kids into this world because it'll cause global warming. Well, which is it? It's a conclusion looking for an argument. And I don't know if Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is even remotely conscious enough to realize that, but she is being used by fairly wicked ideologies. And then she is using these ideologies in a really manipulative way. Whenever politicians say, think of the children, you know that you are dealing with a demagogue. There is only one exception to this, which is when politicians are actually calling for the slaughter of babies an hour after they're born, as is happening now. But when they talk in the abstract, say, think of the children, you are dealing with a demagogue. And AOC is silent, by the way, on the killing of children. But that's what this is about. This is about demagoguery, and it is about exploiting and terrifying kids to destroy our Republican system of government, which is what will happen. That's what the Green New Deal does. It destroys our Republican system of government. And she makes this point even more acutely. She makes this point even more on the nose, but quickly. Because I actually, this video in particular, the last week or so, has me doubting whether AOC is actually a good politician. I've really defended her political chops. I think she's just taken a wrong turn. We'll get to why in a second, but first, oh, you know how much I love my purple mattress. You know this. I talk about it all the time. Purple mattress is unlike any other mattress you've ever slept on. It is, it's not quite a memory foam, it's not quite an inner spring, it's this unique type of mattress developed by a rocket scientist. It's both firm and soft at the same time. How is that possible? I can't really tell you. It just is. I was very skeptical when I first heard about Purple Mattress. They sent me one. Said, I don't even know, honestly, if I want to use this. It's just a weird sounding thing. I said, no, I really should try it. It's going to be a sponsor. I should try it. It took one night and I was hooked. I love this mattress so much. It is so by far the greatest mattress I've ever slept on. I go on the road a lot. You know, I give these speeches at colleges, and the first thing I miss is my Purple mattress. And then my wife. No, that's not true. I miss my wife first. I miss sleeping next to but the Purple's up there though. You know, the Purple is really close. It's fabulous, 100-night risk-free trial. If you're not fully satisfied, you can return your mattress for a full refund backed by a 10-year warranty, free shipping and returns, free in-home setup, and old mattress removal. You're gonna love it. Right now, my listeners will get a free Purple pillow with the purchase of a mattress. That is in addition to the great free gifts they're offering site-wide. Just text COFEFE to 84888. It's the only way to get this free pillow. Text COFEFE, COVFEFE, to 84888. That is COVFEFE to 84888. Message and data rates may apply. I'm beginning to seriously doubt if AOC is a good politician. The reason, so I'll just show you what started to make me wonder, and maybe you'll be able to get it too, a little bit later in that exact same clip.
This idea that if we just, I've been working on this for X amount of years, it's like not good enough. Like we need a universal sense of urgency, and people are trying to introduce watered down proposals that are frankly going to kill us.
They're going to kill us. Actually, and it's not that the conservatives are going to kill us. It's that Democrats, who also ostensibly believe in global warming, who also are trying to regulate industry, to stop certain types of pollution or whatever, that's probably not actually going to do that, but that's ostensibly the purpose of it. Those politicians are the ones who are going to kill us. Democrats are the ones who are going to kill us. The left is what's going to kill us, according to Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Dianne Feinstein talking to those kids, she could have been talking straight to Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. She said, When you come running in here, you who know nothing, you who are perfectly ignorant, come running in here and you scream and you yell and you say my way or the highway, I don't respond very well to that. And it's not just Dianne Feinstein, it's not just senators. We, the American people, don't respond very well to that. When you come in, when you make, by the way, she has a demonstrable record of egregious errors. She knows nothing. She doesn't even know how taxes work. She thought that a $3 billion tax incentive in her district meant that there was $3 billion sitting around that the city of New York was just going to hand over to Amazon. She doesn't know what taxes are. It's the main function of Congress, right? Raise money and spend money. She doesn't even know that. And she's coming in here and saying, I understand the world. I understand everything in the material world. I understand the most complex system we can possibly even imagine on Earth. And I can predict to the year when that system and why is going to end all of human life. And it's in a dozen years. And if you don't do exactly what I tell you to do, you are evil and you're responsible for the destruction of humanity. That's what she's saying. Now, she sounds here, obviously, in this clip. She doesn't sound smart. She says, and like, and tee-hee, and like, bop. It's both inarticulate and ignorant. But who cares? Maybe that's good politics among millennials who talk like that too. Maybe. I don't think it is. I don't talk like that. I don't want to degrade myself to talk like that, and I don't think other people should too. But maybe it could be good politics, except I'm no longer certain that she's this brilliant politician. People compare her to Trump. They say AOC is just like Trump. They both speak in a sort of lower level manner in public. They both are very good at manipulating the media. They're both very good at riling up their bases. Okay, maybe. Except Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is a professional activist who was, according to voter records, living with her parents as recently as 2.5 years ago. Donald Trump is a billionaire who's built a ton of businesses, who has dominated the most difficult industries in the world for 40 years. Television, New York real estate, casinos, politics, obviously. He ran for one political office in his whole life, and he won it on the first try, the most powerful office in the history of the world. Not much of a comparison. The other thing is, AOC is choosing issues that are very unpopular. Open borders, 70%, 80% tax rates, spending $40 trillion, outlawing planes, trains, and automobiles, and knocking down people's houses, printing money out of nowhere. Those are not popular issues. President Trump chooses popular issues. Border security, strong economy, job creation. Those are very popular issues. And now she's making this really difficult play, which is to alienate all of her potential allies. What allies does she have? Her first action as an elected congresswoman was to invade Nancy Pelosi's office and protest about global warming. Now she's going after Dianne Feinstein. Now she's going after she's really alienating a lot of allies. And you're seeing pushback now. You're seeing pushback from Democrats who are realizing that democratic socialism, as they call it, socialism in all of its forms, is probably not working. This narrative isn't doing very well among the American people. The Democrats are realizing maybe socialism is not a winning issue. Now you hear Kamala Harris is changing her tune. She was calling for the abolition of our entire healthcare system not 1 month ago. And now she's saying, I'm not a Democrat socialist. Who said I was no, not me. No. You misunderstood. I'm a Semocrat socialist. Now you heard it was a mistake. No. I'm just a progressive, is what she's now saying. She's changing her tune. And Kamala Harris, by the way, is the weather vane of 2020. She's probably leading the pack right now. She has the most similarities to Hillary, even that horrific laugh. And she has the most to lose. So she's really playing it very safe. No, I want to abolish the U.S. healthcare system. No, I didn't really mean that. I am embracing the policies of democratic socialism. Oh, no, I didn't really mean that. She's the weather vane. So you watch her to see where the field is shaking out. A lot of polls show that Americans are warming up to socialism. And this is certainly true among Democrats and millennials. Democrats and millennials, but I repeat myself, have a warmer view of socialism than they do of capitalism. And so the polls show us this, Gallup shows us this. I'm not so sure it's happening in real life. And I think the evidence of this is Kamala Harris. The evidence of this is not just Kamala Harris, by the way. Not only are the candidates backing off, even the DNC chairman, Tom Perez, who said that Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Democrat socialist, is, quote, the future of our party. Listen to how he's talking about socialism now.
How do you defend against President Trump's charge and effort to portray the Democratic Party, your tax and spend policies, as socialist?
This is one of the oldest tricks in the playbook, Chris. You go back 75 years when Republicans don't want to discuss the issues that matter to real people. They call it socialism. Social Security, when it was being debated, you had Republicans calling it socialism. The minimum wage in 1938, you had Republicans calling it socialism. Medicare, Ronald Reagan said, and I quote, Medicare will lead to socialized medicine. Medicare will lead to socialism in America. The Affordable Care Act, the Children's Health Insurance Program, all of those things were socialism, socialism. Why do they do that? Because they're wrong on the issues. They don't want to talk about pre-existing conditions. We're right on that issue. We want to make sure if you're diabetic, you can keep your coverage. They don't want to, so they change the subject. And
okay.
That's what they do.
Talk about projection. You just changed the subject. Chris Wallace asked you how you're going to defend against charges of socialism. You called a socialist the future of your party. Your darling of the Democrat congressman is a self-described socialist. One of the leaders of the pack for the presidential race, at least on paper, I don't think he'll really win, is a self-described socialist. There were over 40 candidates in 2018 running as Democrats with the backing of the Democratic Socialists. You had candidates all across the country embrace socialism, and now every presidential candidate for the Democrats is embracing the Green New Deal, which is, by definition, socialism. It's the government taking over industries. It's the government instituting tax rates of 70, 80%. It's the government printing money out of nowhere, $40 trillion of costs, taxing people when they can't tax anymore. They just pull the money out of thin air. You're the one who's using the word socialism, and then you have to change the subject because you can't defend it. So he says, well, you know, Republicans are always calling us socialist. No. You're calling yourself socialist. And then you realized that that's not a winning strategy, so you're trying to pretend that you didn't. But you did, and you are. And by the way, he uses this example. He says, you know, Reagan said Medicare would lead to socialism. Show me the lie. Reagan was exactly right. In fact, the socialist healthcare policy that is now being advocated by virtually every Democrat presidential candidate, I think all of them, is called Medicare for All. It is saying, oh yeah, that Medicare was a pretty good baseline for socialism, so now we're going to apply that to everybody, and then we'll have full socialist health care. Now, look, we have to be grateful. This is a good sign that this is cracking up. In the old days, Democrats would lie, and they would say, we're not really socialists. Then, within the last 2 years, they've said, no, we are socialists. Socialism's a good word. And now, it's swinging back again. They say, maybe that was a little too bold. Maybe we revealed ourselves a little too much. Maybe that narrative is running up against reality, and nowhere is the left-wing narrative running up against reality more than in the Russia collusion hoax. Adam Schiff, the biggest spokesman for this non-controversy, is now all but admitting that. CNN, all but admitting collusion didn't really happen. They're setting the stage for the next scene. We will get to that. And then we will get to the literal narratives that are breaking apart in the terrible movies of 2018, the awards shows, the Spirit Awards, the Oscars, and why Roma why it's getting all of this hype, even though it's a simply terrible movie that I actually watched this morning. But first, tonight, tune in to our next episode of Daily Wire Backstage, where we will be talking about everyone's favorite award show. Daily Wire God King, Jeremy Boring, Ben Shapiro, Andrew Klavan, Alicia Krause, and little old me will be smoking stogies, drinking whiskey, and laughing at the dumpster fire known as Hollywood's most important night. As always, only Daily Wire subscribers get to ask the questions, so make sure to subscribe today. $10 a month, $100 for an annual membership. You get me, you get the Andrew Klavan Show, you get the Ben Shapiro Show, you get the Matt Walsh Show, you get to ask questions in the mailbag coming up on Thursday, you get to ask questions backstage, you get Another Kingdom, you get a ton of stuff. And you get this. I took the lid off so I could get an even better, That is the smell of narratives breaking down. That's what it sounds like. All culminating on the night that celebrates narratives, the Oscars. We will get to all of it in just a second. Make sure you have your tumbler ready. We will be right back.